Buildings in CK3 are the lifeblood of our realms. They generate gold, levies, and other crucial resources. That's why it's important to understand how to use CK3's building system efficiently. Every construction requires 4 things: terrain, cultural innovation, time, and money. Of these, the 2 we can most easily control are time and money. So imagine this: you have 100 gold. Would you rather build a hunting ground right now or save up for a farm that costs 150 gold? That's exactly the question we're answering today. In this video, I'll be ranking all 13 economic buildings plus 6 county buildings in CK3 based purely on their profitability, proven by math, and focused on how fast each one pays for itself. But before that, hello guys, JBread here, back again for another video. And it goes without saying, this video was a tough one to make. There were a lot of math, testing, and organizing involved. Since I'm still a fairly new channel, any support means a lot. Whether it's a comment, a like, or a sub, it really helps me out. I'm aiming to reach maybe 500 subs after this video, or maybe even 1,000 if we're feeling ambitious. And every bit of support helps me in continuously improving the quality of these videos. Anyway, back to the topic. Think about it. Whether you build a farm or a pasture, you pay a fixed amount of gold upfront. For this video, we'll assume you don't have the architectural trait and development does not affect income. So, construction takes full time and money, and the earnings are from their base income. For example, a farm costs 150 gold and takes 3 years to construct. That's 50 gold per year, or roughly equating to 4.17 gold per month before it even generates income. And once completed, a level 1 farm only produces 0.5 gold per month. At that rate, it takes 25 years for the building to pay for itself. You might think, well, I have 200 gold now, and it's been 5 years. It doesn't feel like I lost any money at all. But here's where opportunity costs come in. If you save that 150 gold instead of spending it early, you'd have around 320 gold by now. That's after adjusting for the small income your farm gives. See, that farm only nets you about 30 gold in 5 years, meaning you still haven't earned back the 120 gold you spent building it. The rest of the gold, the 100 or 70 or so, comes from your other holdings, development, vassal taxes, and a few random events. With that 320 gold, you could have invested in armies, feasts, or even conquered a neighboring county, one that might have profitable buildings already. Or maybe you could have invested in a different building, one that costs less but pays for itself in half the time. In short, just because you spent gold doesn't mean you invested it well. The best buildings aren't always the most expensive. They're the ones that start making you richer faster. So which buildings should you prioritize first to maximize your gold efficiently? That's where my calculations come in. So I first gathered all the available data on every building, their cost, income, building time, and any other secondary effects that might affect those 3. After that, I calculated how long it would take for each building to earn back its investment. Then I simply divided 1 by the number of years it would take to pay for itself, to serve as a progression or ranking score. The higher, the better. For the purpose of this video, we'll call that the ROI rank. Every building's ranking's gonna be based on the average ROI and the average payback plus construction time, so that we could consider the early game and the late game performance of the buildings. But if you want, you could still judge it based on like the early game performance. It's really up to you. I'll just include it here if you need it. The way my ranking works is very simple. There are 5 tiers, S, A, B, C, D. Each tier has a corresponding number. Like for the S tier, since it is the end of the tier list, so it contains the whole of the rank. So it has a value of 5/5. Whereas the A tier is like 4/5 towards the end. So it has a rank of 4/5. Same as the B tier, C tier, and the D tier, which is the lowest. should be like the list of the tier list. So beginning with the S tier, the highest score that any building has with its rank is 3.42. So that will serve as the ultimate building. Now to the calculations of like for the other tiers, like it's basically just dividing the highest tier towards the portion that the other tiers has. So for the A tier, its lower bound should be the rank of the tier itself. So for the A tier, the lowest bound of it should be 2.73. So any building lower than this will be in the B tier. Any building equal to this and higher will be in the A tier. And that's just how it works. Basically, this is just for standardizing the ranking of the video. Now let's begin with the D tier. Drum roll please. The buildings with the worst returns are Magistracy at 88.79 years payback and an ROI of 1.23%. Yep, this is the only one for the D tier. Basically, the Magistracy will only pay when you're at the 89th year of the game. Even at level 1, the payback for this building is 58 years. It only pays 0.15 gold at level 1, making it one of the lowest income building that isn't a military focused. But with all that said, magistracies do boost other buildings' income by a percentage. They also provide prestige, influence, eparch attitude, and stewardship bonuses when if it's at a higher level. Thus, this makes it a synergizer building that mainly performs better when paired with other more lucrative buildings higher up on this list, like those found in the B or S tier. And now, we move to the C tier. The buildings that are a little bit better but still not great either are Murex Fisheries, the cattle pastures, trade ports, orchards, elephantry, quanuts, and hospices. These buildings aren't bad, just that they are situational. You should build them after your higher tier ones or if they're the only options available in your terrain. Their strengths lie in their secondary effects. Murex Fisheries, for instance, with its development boost prestige and influence. The cattle pastures, for instance, have a good balance between money and levies. Trade ports, another good building for development growth. Orchards also provide development growth as well as substantial levy increase. Elephantries, useful if you have an elephant or want their secondary construction times discount. Quanuts, great in deserts and unlock better buildings. And lastly, hospices for piety, legitimacy bonuses, and plague resistance. Like in the D tier, these are synergy buildings. They work best when combined with stronger economic options. And now we're getting to the good stuff. Now we're at the B tier. These are the solid, dependable buildings that perform well in most situations. These are farms and fields, the watermills, caravanserai, desert agriculture, hunting grounds, and lastly, quarries. These are your go-to buildings. They are efficient, reliable, and versatile. Farms and fields, they provide great early game income and relatively cheap. Watermills, for example, provides huge boosts to holding taxes. Caravanserai, they provide tons of side benefits. Desert agriculture are also cheap, quick, and very profitable. Hunting grounds, similarly, are cheap, quick, but they also provide a solid balance of economy and military. Lastly, quarries. They are very lucrative, especially for holdings in rough terrain. These are all safe economic choices, and you can't really go wrong with them. By the way, if you're confused on something or is a bit overloaded by the numbers I'm putting up on the screen, don't worry, because I will summarize each tier near the end of the video, or you can just also comment below for questions that I would be happy to answer to. But if you're enjoying this video or want to see more CK3 economy breakdowns or challenges, drop a comment below about what you'd like to see next. But now, back to the list. And now we're getting to the top G buildings. the ones that guarantee your financial success if your realm stays stable. These are the wetland farms, forestries, hill farms, and windmills. These are classic, no-brainer picks. At first glance, you might think that, hey, these don't make that much money, especially the first three. But the trick is in their build time, cost efficiency, and scaling. Wetland farms, for example, are cheap, quick to build, and improve construction bonuses as they level. For instance, at level 2, they already start outpacing other early game buildings like pastures. Forestries reduce construction time massively and even cut temple and army upkeep costs. Hill farms are similarly fast and affordable. And the windmills, they are legendary for a reason. Great early game income, consistent scaling, and a massive plus 34% holding tax modifier. And that's absurdly good, especially when combined with A or B tier buildings. In short, these should be your first economic priorities. And finally, we're at the S tier, the king of economic buildings. It is the Manor House at 32.05 years payback and an ROI of 3.42%. They are as cheap as farms, almost as powerful as windmills or water mills, and incredibly efficient. They've got one of the highest level 1 incomes at 0.7 gold. And while they do dip a little at higher levels, their overall performance remains unmatched. Even better, they pay for themselves insanely fast. With construction time included, it takes 22 years. But without it, it takes 17 years. And that's crazy good. The only real downside is that they don't provide much secondary effects. But when you're printing that much gold, who cares? You can fund armies, development, or anything else of your sheer wealth alone. Manors are, simply put, the GOAT of economic buildings. So to recap, D tier, niche synergy building, requires other buildings to prop itself up, exclusive to admin governments, long payback, and low income. On average, it takes 89 years to pay for itself. Only build if Constantinople already has better buildings, or you can access its late game upgrades. C tier, decent but situational. Recommended to have when you already constructed buildings from S to B tier, or you have extra building slots and have lots of money with few options for buildings, or also you need their secondary effects. Payback range between 80 years to 60 years. B tier, solid and versatile, easily accessible, should be the first buildings to build if you can't access buildings from S to A tier. Paybacks range from 45 to 40 years. A tier, fast, efficient, and practical. Quick to build. You don't need to worry about cost and time. Paybacks range between 38 to 33 years. And last but not least, the S tier, the Manor House, the undisputed economic champion. Largest income to cost ratio and at level 1. Fastest paying payback at 32 years. Should be your priority number 1. And yeah, that's about it, guys. I hope this video served you in some way. I was planning to make a man-at-arms version, this time including the terrains as factors, but with the impending release of All Under Heaven, I'm waiting until I'm sure that DLC won't change much of how buildings or troops costs. Anyway, by the way, this list is still under development. As soon, I will try to incorporate the building's secondary effects and also the effects of development, terrain, but just everything about buildings to make a cohesive and comprehensive coverage of all buildings in this game. And since this video took me a very long time to make, thus I'm trying to in the background develop a method in doing that ensures that the results are very accurate. I'd also like to thank the recent subs. You guys have been instrumental to my channel growth. I hope to see you guys soon in future videos. God bless, have a good day, and peace to you guys.